On a cold February morning in 1555, this same ground carried a man to his death. His name was Rowland Taylor, Rector of St Mary's Church, Hadleigh, husband and father, and in the eyes of Queen Mary's government, a heretic. He was not a soldier, he was not a rebel, he was a priest. And yet, before the day was over, he would be burned alive at the stake on Aldham Common. Not for violence, not for treason, but for what he believed. To understand Rowland Taylor, you have to understand Hadleigh. Even today, Hadleigh feels like a place shaped by history. A Suffolk market town built on the wall wealth, narrow streets, and centuries of quiet continuity. At its centre stands St Mary's Church, the same church where Taylor once preached, a building that still dominates the skyline, a reminder that this story is not distant history, it happened here. And in the 1500s, Hadleigh was not isolated. It was connected to the religious changes sweeping across England. Ideas were moving, books were circulating, and Protestant reform had taken root in part of East Anglia. Rowland Taylor became one of its strongest voices in the town. England under the 16th century is not stable. It has been torn apart by religion. For centuries it had been Catholic, but under Henry VIII, England broke from Rome. The king became head of the church and everything began to change. Under his son, Edward VI, England moved further into the Protestant reform. Church services were rewritten, the Mass was replaced, the Bible was translated into English, and men like Rowland Taylor rose within the new religious world. But in 1553, Edward died, and everything changed again. Edward's half-sister, Mary Tudor, became queen, and she had one clear goal: to restore England to its Catholic ways. The old church returned, the Mass returned, and the Protestant reforms were reversed. And many clergy, this meant compliance. For others, it meant conflict. For Rowland Taylor, it meant refusal, because Taylor believed that the reforms under Edward were not political changes, they were spiritual truth, and he would not abandon them. Rowland Taylor was not a distant figure. He was the rector of St Mary's Church, Hadleigh, the respected preacher, a known figure in town, someone people would have seen walking through the market streets. He preached Protestant doctrine. He rejected the return of the Catholic Mass. And when ordered to conform under Queen Mary, he refused. That refusal changed everything. Taylor was removed from his position, then arrested, then taken away from Hadleigh. But what makes his story remarkable is not just what happened to him, it is how he responded. He was given chances to recant, to return to Catholic worship, to save his life. But he would not, because for Taylor, belief was not something you adjust under pressure. It was something you lived or died for. And in Tudor England, that made him dangerous. On the 9th of February 1555, Rowland Taylor was taken from prison and he was led back towards Suffolk, back towards Hadleigh. Not to return home, to die. The winter air was cold, the roads were rough, and the landscape of Suffolk stretched around him. Fields, trees, and distant church towers. Hadleigh slowly disappeared behind him. The town where he preached, the town where he stood. The people who knew him, all fading into distance. And ahead of him, Aldham Common. Aldham Common lies just outside Hadleigh. Today it is a peaceful countryside, open fields, quiet skies, a place you might pass without noticing. But in 1555 it was something else entirely, a place of execution, a place where authority was made visible, a place where belief became punishment. Taylor was brought forward, tied to a stake, wood stacked around him, the crowd watching, and then the fire was lit. He was burned alive, not in secret, but publicly, as a warning. Taylor was not alone. During Queen Mary's reign, hundreds of Protestants were executed for heresy. This period became known as the Marian Persecutions. Burnings took place across England. Men and women were killed for refusing to conform. And over time, their stories were recorded and remembered. Not as criminals, but as martyrs. Rowland Taylor became one of the most well-known among them because his story was local. It belonged to Hadleigh. Today, Hadleigh remembers him. Near Aldham Common stands a statue, a memorial for Rowland Taylor. A quiet monument in a peaceful landscape. A reminder of what happened nearly 500 years ago. People pass it today without the sounds of a crowd, without fire, without fear. But the memorial stands as a witness to a moment when belief and power collided, and a man from Hadleigh was burned for refusing to change his faith. Rowland Taylor's story is not just about religion. It's about conviction, about a man who lived in a time when your belief could cost you everything, and who still chose to stand by the beliefs that he thought and knew was true. Today, Hadleigh is peaceful. St Mary's Church still stands. The fields of Suffolk are quiet, but the memory remains, because on a cold February morning in 1555, a rector of this town walked to his death and did not return. Thanks for watching. Take care. Most importantly of all, stay safe. No, wait there. Wait for the car. think out.
There's spider go in my mouth.
Don't look very open. How about getting a close up over my shoulder walking through it?
And, let's come out with their pencil. Sharpen up the old pencil.
So Gary's just informed me
Go back.
that these are pencil marks from the old school.
Just sharpen that pencil.
They used to sharpen their pencils apparently. If that's not correct, email Gary Bignell.
Every day's a school day.